Queen Elizabeth II, who has reigned over the United Kingdom for 70 years from 1952 to 2022 and has been adored by many, has unfortunately passed at the age of 96 at Balmoral Caslt on September 8th of 2022. The question that has been left after this unfortunate occurrence is that what will happen now to the royal family, who will take Queen Elizabeth's place, and what kind of funeral and what kind of preparations have been made for when the Queen finally passed. The British government has, of course, focused a lot of attention on the passing of a sovereign, as it is one of the most important events culturally that occurs within the United Kingdom. In fact, the plan has been thought out so carefully that it's even been given a name by the British government, called Operation London Bridge. Operation London Bridge lays out the 10-day period of mourning and funeral that will occur for the Queen, and also the 10-day accession that will occur for her successor, King Charles III. Starting off on the first day of her passing, the royal household will notify the public of the Queen's death. Of course, we saw this occur on September 8th. Prince Charles will immediately become King Charles upon her passing, and his wife Camilla will immediately also become the Queen Consort. Flags across the United Kingdom from this point forward will fly at half-staff across the nation until 8 a.m. the day after the Queen's funeral. On the day of, Charles will issue a brief statement mourning the passing of his mother, and the Prime Minister, the sitting Prime Minister at the time, will also give an address speaking of the Queen and her passing. The next day will bring in an official announcement from the King announcing a period of royal mourning to be observed until 7 days after the Queen's funeral. This means that the time of mourning for the royal family will last over 2 weeks. All across the city of London and around the country, gun salutes will be given to honor the Queen. Specifically, 1 round for each year of her life, meaning that these gun salutes will fire 96 rounds total. Both houses of Parliament after this are to delay their start until the noontime, and where they will then observe a moment of silence for the late Queen, and then share stories and moments they have had with the Queen, and of course, good times. St. Paul's Cathedral will then hold a service, as we have seen yesterday, to honor the Queen and also offer prayers. This service was open to 2,000 members of the public at the time, and was also streamed across the internet, and was also televised by many news companies. After these first 2 days of events, on Saturday morning, the Accession Council will meet at St. James's Palace in London, where it formally declared, just hours ago, Elizabeth's death and the proclamation of the new sovereign, King Charles III. Charles then signed the documents, which of course ascended him to the throne, which were also signed by the witnesses. On the same day, senior members of Parliament will now take an oath of allegiance to the King, King Charles III. The British Army and military will also do the same in due time, where they now have to change their oaths from Queen Elizabeth II to King Charles III. At some time during the occurrence of these events, Queen Elizabeth's body will be transported from Balmoral Caslt down into Edinburgh, Scotland, where it will then take a procession down the Royal Mile and be rested in St. Giles Cathedral for a short time, so that way the public can mourn in Scotland and the death can officially be seen. After this undisclosed amount of time, Queen Elizabeth II's body will then be transported by plane from Edinburgh, Scotland, to London, where it will once again take another procession, this time to Westminster Abbey, where a service will be held, and then finally her body will be transported to Westminster Hall, where it will stay for 3 days, during which the public can visit the body for 23 hours of each day. During this time, funeral preparations will be made and finalized for the Queen, where she will take her final journey. On the 10th day of Operation London Bridge, the state funeral will finally be held for Queen Elizabeth, as her body is once again transported from Westminster Hall in London to Windsor Castle in Windsor, where her body will then rest alongside her father's and Prince Philip in St. George's Chapel at the castle. With the resting of Queen Elizabeth II's body at Windsor Castle and St. George's Chapel, this story of British history will finally come to a close. But the beginning of King Charles III's history and reign will only have just begun. At some point in the future, King Charles III will have a coronation, which will of course officially celebrate his ascendance to the position of king. Beyond that, only time will tell what happens in the future, if King Charles III will be an incredibly good king or an incredibly poor king. But at the end of Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, Operation London Bridge will come to an end, which will be the final moments of Queen Elizabeth II's reign in history and impact on the United Kingdom and the world. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this short summary of what will be happening over the next several days in the United Kingdom and what this means for the rest of us. Of course, if you have enjoyed, please make sure to support my Patreon, which helps us to keep this channel running and also helps me to make videos like this, because, of course, getting copyright-free footage and other kinds of footage is not an easy venture. I thank you so much once again, and I hope to see you in the next video.